Hey, and welcome to another cellar video, another beer we pulled out of the, I don't know, back room here. This looks new though, less of a cellar beer. We believe the date says Best by 5/12/18 on it,
Or 10.
or 10.
But we feel good about the 18, I think,
Yeah,
right?
it's hard to say. It says on the top, yeah, it could be a 10. This is St. Bernardus,
Right on.
your favorite. You love the Christmas one though.
The Christmas one from St. Bernardus is my favorite Christmas ale,
Okay.
for sure. I mean, there's Great Lakes and there's Anchor and, all this other stuff. But for me, theirs is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on a previous episode of Chicago Beer Pass, we were talking about the Belgian beer cruise. So this beer almost goes perfect with that.
For
should've
sure.
did that.
Thank you.
And then we'll do some big pours here. This is a big beer. It's their Abt 12.
It's just looking at it, man, it looks like it's the quad, right?
Is that what is the 12 the quad?
It might be.
10%. I always forget how the numbers work. I feel like it's 6, 8, 12,
Yeah,
right?
I think you're right.
So, yeah. So you're very familiar with this beer, then, right?
Yeah, I've I love what they do. I know there are 11 Trappist breweries now, and Westmalle was the world's first triple. But
Okay.
this the Belgian quad from these guys always caught my attention.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
and then and a lot of times you can when you think about stuff to just have at the house, even though you like pales or hoppy styles, you always revert to the classics to just have on deck.
Yeah, sometimes you just, I don't know, it gets fun to have beers like maybe like the strawberry basil or things like that, but then you just want something like classic when you sit down. But you get a lot of that like raisin, candied kind of aroma, very sweet. I don't get any like cellar kind of notes going on. So maybe it was 18. What do you think? Yeah. Wow. Man, that's tough. Now I'm questioning this. It looks like an 8, but feeling like it could taste like a 10 now.
I feel like there's a nice mellow alcohol, not really a burn, but definitely a formidable alcohol presence right on the finish there. So I don't know if it's that old.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say it's the 18 or 2018 here on the date, because if it was 2010, it's 2017 right now. We would notice, like, I think the sugars would be completely gone. It would just be mellow in flavor.
Exactly.
There's no way this is 2010 Best Buy, because then it would have been brewed like this is 2018, so it's already probably sitting on the shelf for like a couple years.
Yeah, we were talking about or when we hung out at the Saved by the Bell party, we were listening to Greg Hall talk about like his experience with the Rochefort and Paris Jacques and how they named the beer after him. But basically, Belgians, a third of the day they pray, a third of the day they work, a third of the day they brew.
Yeah.
Right.
When do they drink?
When do they drink? Right?
Probably when they're eating, right?
Yeah, and some of these breweries they only brew during the light hours. They only brew under God's light, because there's very little light that comes into these places, So yeah, and they're always like these majestic kind of like shrines, almost like castles, It's
The
like
breweries themselves,
the breweries,
the monasteries.
the monasteries, yeah. And then they're doing they're making like cheese and they're making wine and they're making like ginger cookies, and they really do it just to sustain themselves. But then the rest of the world is kind of like gravitated towards these styles, and it's inspired. Well, it inspired him. He was saying, "Hey, I love partying with this guy so much, I gotta name a beer after him." But yeah, or you think about New Belgium, how they just, they named their brewery after backpacking through Belgium. Right?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
a lot of American
so much
breweries.
history. Like, where are we gonna see the same thing happen with breweries that open up maybe in South America or that have this? Do they go Belgian, or do they like look to American breweries now as like their kind of inspiration?
Yeah, that's true. Because I guess nowadays, a lot of the like European brewers or like the like brewers in London, they're kind of looking to Americans for inspiration. So yeah, I wonder what that's gonna look like going forward. Because a lot of American brewers are definitely inspired by
Yeah, and
these guys.
guarantee, although maybe Belgian beers aren't in fashion right now, they will come back.
No.
Like you have bars like Map Room and Hop Leaf here in Chicago that have a very Belgian beer focus, and just like that's their thing. Like I think it gets people into beer.
Yeah, I was looking at look, I haven't been to Belgium, but I was looking on the map, and they were saying like there's almost 450 breweries, but it's in a space the size of like Maryland, right? Like it's just very, very densely populated with breweries. And you talk to like Clint, who we've had on the show on Beer Pass before, and he would say, hey man, I went over there, and a lot of times, if they don't have the glass that the beer comes in, if they don't have the brewery's glass, they won't serve you the beer.
Whoa.
But then also like breweries that from the western part of the country don't even make it east. So when you go to a bar like Hop Leaf, it really is, or one of the best bars in the world for that stuff, because they've got it from
got it everywhere.
If you go there, you wouldn't be able to get
that's kind of nuts.
the stuff at Hop Leaf, So,
but as far as the Abt 12 goes, like pulling it out of your cellar, like getting it, you could let this sit a little bit, but I don't think you're benefiting from like aging this beer any more than their best by date on it. Like, what don't you like about this that you're trying to like age out of it?
Right. I feel like I've had Orval fresh, right, and then I've had it when it's sat. I've had it like 3-4 years later, and the type of hops they use, man, like these like Hallertau or Saaz in particular, like they don't. I mean, yeah, they give you traditional hop flavors that you're used to in American beers, but a lot of it is earthy or peppery, you know, and that's gonna fall out.
Yeah.
But those flavors, it changes more than it does. Like it doesn't really fade; it just changes.
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
It's still something really fun. So
So yeah, if you have any St. Bernardus or Abt 12s laying around, drink them. They're easy to get your hands on too, so you can always pick up a new one too. If you're really like, oh no, I've been saving this one for a year, go out and buy a new one and open it up and enjoy it now, and then and save that one too if you're like that dedicated to your cellar.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely we'll keep sipping on this beer because it's tasting fabulous. Cheers.
Cheers.